All right. Hi, everyone. So the purpose of this meeting is we just want to give a quick app files one-on-one. How to create a file. Discuss autofill functions, and go over some of the compliance part of things. That we're looking for as we're reviewing the files. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we can get this going.
Greg, should we introduce all of ourselves just to make sure for like new people that come in and that kind of thing?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Okay.
Shelley, why don't you start?
Okay. I'm Shelley Wilcoxon, and I am the Southwest Florida coordinator for Appfiles. Basically, my position is reviewing all of the app files that you all put together and making sure that we are in compliance according to ERA and things that Greg wants in there. For Southwest Florida, there are a little tweaks here and there that are different from other people, but we need things that we need in the file and that Jeremy requests, and also all the way to the end to when we send it to Christine for payment. So we'll go over that in a little bit, but I just wanted to let you know who I am.
Boy, oh boy, you got a big job.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Judy. I can be next. I'm Judy Biagini. I'm the original property manager from Lahaina Realty, now ERA Lahaina Realty. I've been doing it for quite a while. Can't remember how long. I don't want to remember. And I currently practice sales since the
Awesome.
hurricane.
Thanks, Judy.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah. So Erica, you're the compliance officer, the compliance broker.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Erica Kalinsky here. I follow up behind Shelley when all the files have gone into a new position and she reviews everything. She kind of sends it to me to do the final check off to make, just to kind of follow up behind her to make sure everything has been done correctly and all the required forms are in there. And then once you're closed, I do one final check and everything goes to Christine.
So essentially, when we've got files, Shelley's going to be the first person within the brokerage to do a file review, and then once we get to the point where you're ready to close out your file and get paid, that's when Erica jumps in there and does a final review. I guess we can probably start by putting together a file. And also on a side note, when it comes to getting broker required documents signed, either Erica or myself can sign them. I'd say the protocol is probably to send it over to Erica for signing, but either one of us can do that for you. So I'm going to minimize this, and so to create a file, you're going to go into your app files home screen, and you're going to click new app file. But before I get into that, I want to just point out really quickly the form values section of app files. This is an area where you can pre-fill your documents. So for example, I'm going to take the as-is contract, and you can come right in here. Let's say, for example, you've got an attorney you like to use, or a title company you prefer to use. You can pre-fill this area. I'm actually going to delete these guys because I'm going to be working with security title moving forward. But if you have any parts of your contracts or any of your documents that you typically just know that you're going to work with, you can pre-fill these values, and every time you open up a new file with that document, your pre-filled values will be there. You will have the option of deleting them once you're in there, but at least it will already be filled out for you. So to start a file, you're going to come up to New App File. and then you're going to put your file name. I'd say for buyers, you're typically going to put the buyer name as your file name, and for a listing, you're generally going to put the property address as the file name. Is that do you have any additions to that, Shelley?
Yes, I do. Just the only thing with buyers is you do need to make sure that if you do get a contract with them, a contract to purchase, then you have to, please make sure that it gets changed to new pending buyer. And also that the address replaces the name on the file, because that's how we review the files, is by the address.
Okay, so for a buyer, you would probably, you wouldn't have an address up front, so you probably put in the buyer name, and then once you've identified a property to put under contract, Shelley, would you prefer us to add maybe the address in front of the buyer's name?
Perfect.
Okay, all right. So then we're going to pick the buyer, the file type. This is going to be a buyer, so we will just pick buyer there. We will pretend this is just Greg buying a single family home. And for the customer source, we're ultimately just trying to figure out where you got your buyer from. So, this might be, agent personal transaction would be if you're buying or selling your own property. Agent produced lead is, oftentimes what I use because I get a lot of internet leads. So I'll pick that. And Shelley, is there anything that you would prefer we put into the notes section?
There is things that should be in there, especially if it is a referral. I would like some notes in there with where the referral came from, that kind of thing. If there's a split, say you have a listing, maybe there's another agent involved in that listing, but they are not on the app file because they're not really producing it. There may be an in-house like referral or something like that. I would like to know what the split is. If it's two agents sharing the listing, I would like to know what the commission split is. That's very important when it goes to Christine to pay. Sometimes it's a 50-50 split. Sometimes one of the agents is only getting 25%, something like that. So I need to know that. That's pretty important. And if there's any more information about where that buyer lead or listing lead came from, it would be helpful to have it there as well.
Okay, good. And if this was a listing, by the way, we would like you to tell us if you're going to borrow any of the office signs. So if we have any office owned for sale signs, Supra, open house signs, please keep notes of that in this section, which you can access once we get into the file. Just so that we can keep track of our inventory, and it also serves as a reminder to you that once you've closed out the file, that we need our equipment back. So this would be an area here. By default, these are going to be the users that are going to have access to your file, and these are always office staff. But let's say you've got a co-broke, an agent in the office that's going to be helping you out. You can just go ahead and click the plus sign, and that agent will then have equal access to this file as yourself. So, like I said, you do have access to this note section continuously. So as you borrow house signs and then return them, you can update this if you got any other information that would be relevant to the transaction, either for yourself to look into down the road, or the office might need find it relevant. It's always best to put as much as you can into these app files. What we ultimately want is if you have to have a conversation with a buyer, seller, attorney, or a judge, say 5 years from now about this transaction, You want to make sure that this is as packed full as it can be with informations, both in your notes section and documents that you've added. So if you find it relevant to the transaction at all, it would be good to have everything added in here. So let's say that you received an elevation certificate that might come in handy when, after your buyer purchases the house, that elevation certificate might come in handy 3 years down the road when they decide that they want to sell it and upgrade. You can upload that file right here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a form. And we are going to go through these file packets real quick in the process. So this first section, we've put together form packets of documents that you might find handy. So for example, obviously, this is, the compensation packet. You're never going to be in a position where you select all. You're not going to need all of these documents. But you might be putting an offer together where you've got a seller's broker to buyer's broker agreement. When you put the listing together, you're going to need certainly need some kind of a buyer compensation agreement, which would be either your pre-touring, your showing agreement, or your exclusive buyer broker agreement. But one thing to keep in mind as you're adding these documents, it's going to put together a form packet as you continue to add them. So you might want to be aware of the order that you're putting these in. So for example, if I was going to be putting together a purchase agreement, I would want to start with the as-is purchase agreement. And you might want to reorganize this your own way. And then at that point, I would also want to add the compensation addendum, the seller's broker to buyer's broker. And then we can click add selected forms. And this has now created a form packet with all of these documents. And then at the top, you can click this little pencil and change the name of this packet. This makes it a little easier to find. So by default, it's going to go into this general paper section over here. Once you click this, it's going to open up your form packet again. Another thing that I find handy is to create different sections. So for example, you might have a buyer that ends up putting offers on 3 different houses before they put something under contract. You'd probably want to make sure that you organize your file and hold on to every previous offer they've made under a different section. So in this case, today we're going to pretend we're making an offer on Carolyn's listing. And I'm going to call this packet by the name of the address, or this section. So now we've created a new section. We come back here. Now this paperwork is right here. Now the next thing that you're going to want to do is start to import values. We've got some really fun autofill functions here. So in this case, we know we're going to make an offer on Carolyn's listing. And we are going to copy and paste the MLS number. And that's going to find all sorts of great information for us. We're going to do a quick review, make sure that all makes sense. If you don't want something in there, you can uncheck the box, but we're going to work with everything. In this case, there's no seller to, so maybe we'll uncheck that box and we're going to click Start Import and Finish. Now, we're going to stick the buyer's name in here. And let's back out of this document. And we're going to click on the master buyer template. We're going to import the values from that document. So there's 11 values that are pre-filled. Once you click Start Import, all that information now is over here on the right-hand side. So I suggest regularly importing values over to this file information section. This is not only going to help you with future documents that you have to fill out, but this is also valuable information for us to just have in your file. You know, we want easy access to, you know, buyers and sellers and, you know, lenders as we're, you know, filling out documents in the background, you know, that you're not seeing as agents. So I want to show you, you know, how great this works. Now we're going to create an addendum. And we're going to import some values from the info field. And this auto-filled for us. So, you know, great function. You know, also something to keep in mind as you're making offers on other properties. You know, let's say this one doesn't get accepted. You would want to then let's do an example of that actually. No, that offer didn't get accepted. So now we're going to go to this one. And we're going to create a new purchase agreement. Import values from the MLS with the new property. We can then come in here and override those documents. Oops. Yeah, that was correct. So you can see this is now going to override the old information with our new information from this new listing. So, so that's that. Shelley, did you have anything you wanted to put in there?
I don't think so. I think you covered it really well.
Okay.
I take that back. Let me say one thing, that the templates there on the right-hand side are super helpful for me when I'm having to put this particular sale or whatever into the brokerage engine that is the ERA system that allows you to get paid. So those templates are really helpful for me to get through it much quicker.
Yeah. Perfect. So again, we can create a new section for this new offer to keep our paperwork organized. So you can see over here, we've got, you know, different sections for our different offers that we've been making. Another thing I want to point out here is this section, this financial section, can automatically do the math for you at the bottom. So let's say we are making, I don't recall how expensive this house is. Let's see here. So let's say we're going to make a $840,000 offer. With a $15,000 deposit, no additional deposit, and I always prefer we, you know, put a value in these, even if it's a zero. But let's say the buyer is going to put 20% down. What we can do is put 80% in this value. And you can see that just did all the math for us at the bottom, makes it kind of foolproof. So another thing to keep in mind for the closing date, it gives you the ability to, you know, use the calendar, but afterwards you may want to add this in there. That way, if you guys do want to close early, we don't have to worry about putting together addendums. Anyway, that's the purchase agreement. So now at this point, let's pretend it is the offer's accepted. And at this point, this file really probably hasn't been reviewed yet by Shelley. The next thing to keep in mind is that we need to notify the brokerage that you now have a pending file. So you can come in here and change this to new pending buyer. Click save. And as soon as that happens, Shelly is now notified that you've got a file that needs to be reviewed. So these are, the prompts that put, Shelly and Erica on notice that it's time for file review. Shelly, you've got some other ways that that prompt you to review files as well.
I do go through the MLS daily to see what new listings there are, to see what expired listings there are, to see pending listings that we do have, to see where the process is in the file. So I do review that on a daily basis, and I also review on the home page on the right-hand side. I can see what files have been added as well, like buyer files, like buyers or new pending buyers, that kind of thing. So I do, yes, I do review that side as well on a daily basis. And so I apologize in advance if I look at one of your files and I do see something missing, and maybe you just haven't gotten to it yet. But if you have a purchase contract executed and you have an active MLS in the MLS system, you should have all the documents in there by then. So, but if I jump the gun on you, I apologize, but that's just what I do.
All right, so over here, let's add another form that I want to point out to everyone. We have another form packet here called ERA required documents. These are documents that we want to have in every file. You don't necessarily have to add the required document file, but I'm going to show you this one real quick. Now, if you click this magnifying glass, it actually gives you a preview, so you don't even have to add it to the file to reference it. This top section here, these are documents when applicable that we need to have in our file. These are documents that are for state compliance and brokerage compliance. And then this bottom section here just outlines our review process in case you ever need to reference this down the road. Again, once you mark it, a property as a new listing, we're going to review it. Once it goes under contract, we're going to review it. And once it closes, we review it. We cannot pay you until we have a closed file, a closed and complete file. One thing to keep in mind, if you've got a listing, obviously, for MLS compliance, that needs to be closed out within 48 hours. And we want to see a sold MLS listing sheet in there just to show us that, that was complied with. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm going to get an assistant. Hi, Edie.
Hello.
There. All right, so no questions.
I want to make one more thing that I just discovered yesterday, as a matter of fact. Because, Erica and I both get emails from time to time of people that need a document unlocked for a certain reason.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something simple like the one yesterday there was a contract in there, of course, that had already been locked, but it was missing an initial. The agent got another completed contract with that particular initial that was on there. And so she was able to, no, I did have to unlock that one. I'm sorry. Let me go back a little bit. There was an addendum in there that she could copy. You can open up your form and make an exact copy and download it if you need something that you need to update something on a form, or even the contract if you need to update something. But then when you put it back in, we'll need to know so we can move it around. But it'll make an exact copy and it's not locked. So technically, they don't need to contact us to unlock a form because they can always make a copy of it update what they need to on it, and then get it back into the file. I just discovered that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So hopping back in here, another thing that Shelley would probably love for me to explain to you is that once you put this property under contract, this document should go up into executed purchase contract, which is this section over here, which we call the checklist. So, let's say this is, fully executed. We can then pop it right up into that section for easy access. And that's the point where it automatically locks. This is not a document that's going to be adjusted moving forward. But, if you do need that unlocked, obviously, reach out to us. So, so there's another kind of cool, more advanced function of this is you can add photos and documents, and particularly what's cool is that let's say that you want to combine documents together. So, yesterday, for example, I put together some screenshots of comps that I sent to a landlord customer of mine for property management, and I showed her different screenshots of different platforms showing what the rental comps looked like. So we can put these all in here just to keep for our records. That way, if you have a conversation with that landlord 3 months from now about why did you come up with that value, we've got these documents right here, real handy. You could then convert these images over to PDF if you'd like to. Oh. And now you've got them, I believe, all merged together by default. But you would be able to move these around as well. Let's say that we, let's say this is, a contract that was sent to you with pages out of order. You can reshuffle these and move them around. I haven't done it recently. Oh,
You
here we
gotta
go.
do organized pages, yeah.
Yeah, we can move these around and put them in the right order if they were numbered, and then hit save changes. You can also split some of them off if you'd like to. Let's say we don't want this to be in here anymore. So now we've got this combined document and the other one is separated. Another thing to keep in mind, and I'm still getting to know this program as well, but I believe, okay, here we go. So we have each file has a specific email address that is assigned to it. So if we want to send a document to your file, you can just email the document to this email address. So let's say we want to send this purchase paperwork packet over there. Hit send. See if that's in there yet. Not sure how quickly that appears, but
Sometimes it does take a little while.
yeah, so that is another function here that's going to show up in here eventually. So that's all I really had for today. Shelley or Erica, did you have anything else to add?
Well, I think we pretty much went over the review process. I go through all the documents, making sure everything that's required is there. Erica's my second set of eyes in case I've overlooked something, to make sure before we change it to pending buyer, for instance, in this particular file that Greg has up here. And the same with new listing. Please put them in, if you're doing a listing as new listing, don't change it to active listing. You shouldn't be able to actually, but don't change it until it has been reviewed. And then after I review it, send it to Erica, she reviews it, then she's the one that changes it to active listing. The same thing with a pending buyer. She's the one that changes it to pending from new. And then also the same with a listing, new pending listing. Don't change it to pending listing. Wait until we review it, and then Erica will change it to pending listing. That's the progress of the file. So.
Correct. All right, and I see our email document made its way in here. Anyway, all right. Well, if no one has any questions, then we can probably wrap this up.
Erica, did you have anything?
No, I think you guys covered everything.
Okay. Judy, I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, I was just saying thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, we try to do what's right, so hopefully it doesn't.
No, it's good.
You know,
it's good.
everybody
With all the changes and
is
stuff.
on
it's
board. Yeah, good.
All right, awesome. And I will we'll send out the recording of this in case anyone wants to review it later. So
Okay.
have a great afternoon, everyone.
You too,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.